Hey guys, it's Charlie. After 2 weeks of distractions, we had the birth certificate announcement and release last week, and then the announcement of the killing of Osama bin Laden this week. Both of these issues, and I think purposefully, are really open-ended. They're really vague, and they're leaving all kinds of room for speculation and debate. Even some mainstreams getting involved with the birth certificate saying, it looks doctored, it looks faked, it looks photoshopped. And as far as the Osama bin Laden deal goes, this is the most hunted man in the history of the planet. Trillions of dollars spent. They boot him off the side of an aircraft carrier and throw him into the ocean. Say they got some DNA evidence and some photos. Say they're going to release him, then say they're not going to release him. And today we even had senators coming out saying they saw these graphic photos in the morning, and by the afternoon they're saying, well, they're not sure if they saw them or if they saw fake ones. All this stuff is being left open and is sparking all kinds of controversy and debate. It's getting both sides, the red team and the blue team, fired up and distracted from news that truly affects your bottom line, your financial future. Now, I know there's a lot of emotional attachment to the killing of Osama bin Laden, but the fact of the matter is, unless his death means we won the war on terror, then we absolutely, it is meaningless to the average American. We spent 6,000 lives prosecuting this war, trillions of dollars, and it's not going to end because we killed Osama bin Laden. That is plain and simple. If I thought for 1 second that it would, then I would be all on board with celebrating and pumping my fists in the air because we finally got the mastermind. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if we kill Osama bin Laden, the second guy in charge, and the third and the fourth. There is nobody that can surrender that would grant us victory on the war on terror. And I think that's why we have this war. It's a war that can go on in perpetuity. Trillions and trillions of dollars can be spent. Profits can be made galore. Real news that came out today, news that will affect your bottom line, news that will affect your financial future, is the Treasury coming out requesting an additional $2 trillion to the national credit card limit. $2 trillion. Now, I know in this modern age of bailouts and a trillion here and a trillion there, it doesn't sound all that staggering. But consider this, the largest increase in history is $1.9 trillion. That happened in January of 2010. Perfectly timed between midterm elections, in the middle of an election cycle, so they didn't have to talk about it on the campaign trail. There was no pending debt crisis during the elections. This one does the exact same thing. $2 trillion will get us through the end of next year, 2012. They won't have to talk about it on the campaign trail. And everybody, left, right, red, and blue, will both be happy because they don't have to own up to their constituents on what they've done, which is throw this country further and further and further into debt. Now, to put this into perspective, $2 trillion to get through the next year. $2 trillion in 1980, after 200 years as a history as a republic, the national debt was $1.8 trillion. And these numbers are from Wikipedia, and they're adjusted for today's modern dollar. So they're adjusted for inflation. $1.8 trillion in 1980. In 1990, $4.06 trillion national debt. If you jump to 2000, $5.6 trillion. And if you go all the way to 2008, the national debt was $7.7 trillion. Now, what's happened between 2008 and now? Because we've pretty much been at war since the beginning of since 2001. So you can't just blame the wars for this explosion from 7.7 to 14.3 and wanted $16.3 trillion national debt. The answer is very simple. The financial institutions in this country that have labeled too big to fail, they're what's happened. Their collaboration with the Federal Reserve and the Treasury at this point have increased and almost doubled and will over double our national debt from 2008 to the end of 2012. It's an absolute and utter scam. They're throwing the middle class in this country under the bus. They're destroying it. And you and I and our children and the future generations, if the country can survive this debt load, will be handed this burden. To cover the sins of the too big to fail, the Congress will raise another $2 trillion limit on the credit card to $16.3 trillion. This is an absolute insult. It's an absolute crime against this country. We have taxation, future earnings, future wealth of this country being robbed in the form of taxation with zero, absolutely zero representation. Stories are attached. That's all I got.